Good evening, everybody. Welcome. It's 6 o'clock, so I'm opening my room. I'm taking the series on the energy entrepreneurship. I'm giving a very prolonged introduction, right, to presenting all the details of several aspects of the entrepreneurial life. We're going to talk about how to really take care of your health while you are busy entrepreneuring. And let me see. Somebody's coming here, so we'll talk to him on the Wisdom app.
Hi, Dr. Rao.
Hello, Jesus, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm pretty good, very good. Happy to be here.
Happy here, honestly.
Yeah.
I wanted to step in just now, just to say thank you for being here and for also talking about this topic. I think it's a very interesting topic for people to listen to. I also wanted to help get your conversation started to get more people in the room before I go for the day.
Oh, sure. I talk anyway, whether people come. Someday there will be some people asking questions. Someday there will be a few. But I talk because many people follow this after I record them, So
Yeah.
I know there's an audience, and also just expressing ourselves is good enough, right? Just to share. Because I'm an entrepreneur too, in a way, because I run this company. Even though I don't do this for money, I do it for giving back, right? But still, I want to reach people. I want to make an impact, that way, not for any egoistic purposes, but just because it's important. As a physician, I see so many people that come with anxiety, depression, and all this. And there are many of them are entrepreneurs, and they are growing in number now. With all this artificial intelligence, we got a lot more people have potential to become entrepreneur and to run those businesses and all that, and they can make good on that. Especially women. So I'm encouraged by that, and that's why I'm presenting this, because my routines give me a lot of energy to go and do more stuff, right? So
Yeah.
I thought that'd be good. What do you do, Jesus? What do you?
I appreciate the approach a lot, honestly, and I like what you stand for. It's really good.
Yeah.
Honestly, as for myself, I do a lot of mediation. I like to mediate between the Christian community,
Yeah.
between the Jewish community.
Yeah.
I'm a musician by day and by night, and pretty much all around.
Okay.
But I love to connect with people,
Yeah.
and I guess you could say in an entrepreneur sense too.
Yeah.
But it's important, as you say, the energy has to be there to really keep up with
Yeah.
purpose and alignment to who you are, the core value, right?
Yeah, that is a driving force. They need that to be protected pretty well. So I was raised in India, but I didn't know a lot of stuff that I learned later on in the United States from India. That's the thing. So I kind of combine best of both countries, USA and India. And that's a better approach, I think. Instead of blaming people, learn the good things about them, So
Yeah, for sure. Sorry for saying yo, but I like that. I like that because when you open your spectrum,
yeah,
and to be going back to energy, to be enveloped in who you are, and to see that cherished and carried forward somewhere else as well, and to just teach people, it's a beautiful thing. I think life is about leveling up for sure, and that's amazing that you've done that and taken that step.
Yeah, I'm going to give some energy boosters that I use throughout the day that will help them to really not spend, but also feel more nourished, and then come out of situations more energized rather than depleted. I'm going to share that today, and what are the things that we could do, and we could instantly really boost our energy. It's not like taking something inside, but just our attitude. So we will do some things. I'm going to talk about them because they help me in the meetings, in the encounters, difficult encounters with the patients and the families, because they come into so many situations that are pretty nasty, right? Serious illnesses. So I got to use them, and that worked for me. And I teach them in the hospitals and clinics I go to. But then I share them in here with my friends. So that's
what is the most effective energy booster you found in life? Whether it be an organic compound or something that is maybe a product on the shelf.
I don't advise them, but I just treat illnesses for them. Okay, that's all. But then boosters wise, I use more like your attitude, your breathing, and also your perspective. How you take a negative situation into positivity, and then how, for example, I don't consider failure there. I consider that to be more like a learning experience. Whatever I fail, I will take it as a learning experience and go and conquer again.
Nice. No, you're so true. It's so true that you say that. Like, it's I always say a mental muscle, right? The ability to learn to harness and to maintain. And it's such a powerful skill that people can acquire in life. And some people don't have it naturally right away. But it's something they can build,
Yeah, they can build. No, don't worry. There's a good word for the mental muscle. I use more like a neuroplasticity, positive conscious thought.
True.
That builds on itself, right? And that's the muscle you are talking about, which will really progressively get better, And then once you discover it, then you can use it. Then it will build on itself.
That's honestly amazing. I was listening to Huberman, if you know who Andrew Huberman is.
Yeah, I know him.
Yeah, and he was discussing about visualization and how to effectively do it.
Yeah, all the athletes and everybody use it. Visualization also you have to do so much, but then if you check your attitude in any situation, like whatever happens, it is for my good. That kind of attitude gives you real pumping energy. So instead of taking down the negative, you can really see what's going on and then get a positivity flowing. And that is good for your sleep, good for your energy, and good for your attitude too. And also, people really like it when you are taking like that. They come towards you and they want to fight with you. So many benefits. Yeah.
How do you describe how positive energy affects the quality of dreams, and how do dreams then translate into positive experiences?
Yeah, in layman terms, dreams are nothing but continuation of your brain still active while the body is already asleep. So for the mind to go into deeper sleep, it has to put all the things that you went through, like semi-conscious, unconscious, or not really awake doing things. So like you are not alert, but you are doing. And those kind of remnants will stay there unless you do some kind of cleaning exercise before you go to bed. They will come into dreams. So dreams consume a lot of energy too. But the longer you stay in the deeper sleep, the better. So you cut down the sleep cycle, the dream cycle a little bit. That is very, very good. So what you do is during the day, be attentive to whatever you do. Completely focused with it. Then you don't have to carry that. Like I'm talking in this meeting. After this meeting, I kind of brush it aside and I go to the next thing, whatever I have to do. So that kind of thing, a habit we cultivate where we are completely participatory and we don't have to take all the trivialities from the meeting, maybe the major points, or that also write it down and put it aside before you go to bed. That kind of reflection and cleaning helps us a lot to sleep better.
I think that's a very wise practice. That's really interesting because it constructs you and it builds up. It builds. What's the word I'm looking for? It builds a solid infrastructure to go off of into your sleep.
Yeah, I'm going to do a full section on the sleep so that people can learn some tricks about how to improve the quality of the sleep. That's I'm going to do that, and I've done it several times, but I'm going to repeat that again, especially for people who are working hard, who have to put a lot of focus and energy and lots of times entrepreneurs don't have the success right away, so they have to protect that energy, right? So
yeah, and it's funny you say that too, because when it comes to even repetitive tasks,
yeah,
and repetitive lessons,
yeah,
even though it might seem like it's counteractive to some individuals, it's actually good because,
yeah,
like you said, it builds that neuroplasticity in us to really inform us the importance of what we are either teaching repetitively or doing repetitively.
yeah. See, one fun thing for me is when I learned all these things through yoga, yoga talked about this same thing of neuroplasticity. And now I'm reading the neuroplasticity because I'm interested in the neuroscience, right? So it's very easy for me to understand and also implement them.
The transferability and the skill, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I do.
So that's why I can tell people not like something I believe, but something I kind of hypothesis and I worked at it and then came to the truth. And that's the science, right? Just proving the truth. So that kind
That's
of,
true.
yeah.
That is very true. And I
Yeah.
hear that
Yeah.
completely. You
But
know,
I
there's
sleep
definitely
very
a
well
spectrum.
too. I sleep with quality every day. So
Yeah,
it's
I'm
a
glad to hear that.
yeah, it's a blissful thing for me. So I just share that, you know.
Honestly, I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me. Honestly, I know there's still 4 minutes, but I
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah,
you
yeah,
letting
yeah,
me here right away.
yeah. We are talking very valuable stuff. Like you are doing interfaith thing, which is a very good thing because I kind of accept everybody and don't belong to anybody. That way, I think everybody is the same. Everybody's religion says the same thing ultimately. So I have no problem. Whoever what it is, they can keep their identity if they want to. But I don't. I just say I'm a global citizen. I'm a human being. That's enough. So, yeah.
I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, and I would never um, force my
Yeah.
my opinion, my belief on you at all.
Yeah. No, we
I,
followed Christ teachings also in India. I talked about a movie that was made when I was very young kid. That movie was very big hit in India. It was made in my language. And then he says something he said really influenced me too. He said,
it resonated.
yeah, to love as a human being is my religion.
Exactly.
So when that was said, it looked the same as what these people are selling too. So that really resonated very much to us. And then, so I have so much science about these sayings too, that you kind of take it and absorb it and then allow them to happen in your life. Then they become so meaningful for us. So
and even with the energy thing too is
yeah,
love thy neighbor, because the more you love your neighbor, the more you can sustain not only the energy in them but within yourself.
Exactly. Even the physics is saying that we are all in one energy, and we know that. So um, if you are your neighbor, then you are the same energy, then you automatically love yourself, love your neighbor like yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, very important point. Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, come and discuss with me about this energy and entrepreneurships, and you can take some points, or you can bring some points, and so that we can help to improve the energy of these entrepreneurial people. So they're really important.
I agree. Sorry.
Yeah.
But I think that there's also it's also interesting how you were mentioning the AI, how fast it's moving.
Yeah.
I think that there is a really good tool that I might suggest to you that you might use.
Yeah.
For your podcast. It's called, I think it's called Firefly's AI. But it enables you to, it takes notes for you, and it also structures them and summarizes them. It does a lot of cool things.
Yeah, I know about this. Right? I know about this because the name, I remember the Firefly, I have these 2 or 3 people that are really survey the what is coming up, what is good, what is all that, right? But they become too many. I said, I don't want to have so many. I want my life simple, but I also use some stuff that is good enough. So I'm still using a lot of apps. So I constantly, reduce them. But Firefly, I heard of it. I will look at it. Thank you for mentioning.
I definitely would probably suggest it mostly for if you want to create like a structured small course or an ebook to utilize those notes.
Oh, I have the books I have written, but this could be helpful to complete them because I started six of them.
Like that's what I meant. Because like taking notes is probably by far the most impactful and way to have neuroplasticity while you're learning something. Taking your own notes with your heads and writing them down.
Yeah, Joe Applebaum, he's the evergreen one. He's a good guy with a lot of LinkedIn training he gives us. I'm part of his courses and all that for a long time now. He's a friend also. He kind of recommends AI courses.
Thank you for having me, by the way. Sorry to cut you off. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. Okay. Yeah, that's nice. Name is nice, and what he's doing is nice, and what he contribute also nice. And he gave me a tip also at the end of the product. That thank you, this is Chris, for that. I'm going to try it and then see how that works out. Okay. So we just started our talk on the energy entrepreneurship, and today I'm going to focus on what are the energy boosters that we could use on a daily basis in a practical sense so that our energy will not go down as we encounter the innumerable things that we do as entrepreneurs, right? For me, entrepreneurs are they have a lot of drive, a lot of energy, a lot of goals and passion to not only create companies, create jobs, but also really develop new stuff and new skills too. They may do it for different purposes. Some may do it for just for money. Some may just do it because they want to improve the conditions of any particular industry. They may want to use the new technology, or they may want to really be constructive about whatever goals or ideals they have. Some people are socially conscious. Some people have real big perspective about our bigger problems and all that, right? So I've seen all of that, but then you got to be a human being first, and then you have to have an enhancement of the humanness. And that is one of the things that really helps your energy quite a bit. So that's what I'm going to discuss today. But to give a few pointers, like for example, what do you do right in the morning when you get up? you know and you can set yourself up if you take a little bit of time, and then really prepare yourself for the day, actually starts the night before. You say what you do before the night is you kind of put all your stuff in an organized fashion, and then all the trivialities that were there, dump them from your mind. And if there are big deals that you understand and you are important, write them down and then forget about it, so that you'll have a good quality of sleep. When you get up in the morning, don't get into the devices right away. That's the first thing. Half an hour before you sleep, half an hour after you wake up, the devices should be active. That means you shut it off half an hour before you sleep, and then you don't pull them on and put them right away after you get up. At least half an hour to 1 hour. I don't work on it for 1 or 2 hours, actually. I don't need to, right? There is a course I'm teaching, digital detoxification. That's also involves this principle. And then in the morning, when you get up in the morning, the one of the important things that you want to do is you want to set your mind, start and go into all sorts of plans. And there is time for that, but first prepare your nervous system to be here and now and to be in awareness. So how do you do that? Is like just sit down at the edge of the bed and take 10 deep breaths with your spine erect. You take deep breaths in and out, in and out. Sometimes if you take inward deep breath and hold your breath for a few seconds and then breathe out, that's much better. But if you cannot do all that, just to take deep breaths in and out and then focus on the breath, and that way you will come to the present moment. And then you can do whatever you want to do. The other thing I would recommend is start with an elevated thought. That elevated thought is something puts your mind and everything in a direction that is much better for you. Okay, if you start with a gossip, or if you start with a global gossip on the social media, if you start with something like somebody got arrested, somebody got killed, whatever, that negative energy you don't need to have at the time, just after you got up, right? And then after you have taken deep breaths and then have an elevated thought, then try to stretch your body, or exercise your body. I prefer to knead the body. Knead, K-N-E-A-D, knead, like a bread. We need the bread, right? Like the body, physical body has to be kneaded. But according to your age, according to your profession, according to your gender, according to your disease underneath, all this differs. But whatever you can do, if you start with some physical exercise and then deep breathing much more, and then meditating a little bit, that's a very good routine. But if you cannot do all of that, at least take some few deep breaths and then stretch a little bit, or exercise, or run, or walk, whatever you want to do. And then when you're taking a shower, make sure that you have a vigorous rub that really stimulates your immune body. So it's a good thing. You can take advantage of that. Okay. And then have a good breakfast. And that breakfast should be the main meal of the day, so that you can expend the energy and also you can work with energy too. All food groups are combined for the breakfast. That is the main thing. Okay. And after is all, and also sit down and eat and chew it. All these things make a lot of difference. Okay, so that you are together holding yourself, and then you are doing the thing with a awareness, mindfully, and that's very, very important too. And then you can go to the office or whatever you do with the attitude of, how can I provide some service to my family, or to my colleagues, or to my institution? If you have an attitude of service, that's much better, And when you go, you want to not to react emotionally to everything, but to respond to the tasks that were there, and with that service mentality. That's what I would recommend. And then do some random act of kindness acts, like through the day, at least two or three of them. Just deliberately do that random act of kindness. See how that elevates your own energy. A friendly gesture, or a friendly supportive talk, or just sharing in the work, or helping financially, whatever that comes to you, that you find somebody is in need. And also, so thereby you can be empathetic to people too. You can really notice somebody is in trouble when you are in that game. But if you are focused on the mechanical task and getting things done, and not knowing how, who is feeling and all that, then you are distant to that emotional states of other people, and you don't have the chance to respond to them in a humane way, which is good for us too. That is a very important thing. If you cultivate loving kindness within you, actually you have more benefit than the other people. But you don't do that with that intention, but generally that's what happens. And be grateful that this day is going well, and this is for every reason. You can find whatever reason you want to be grateful about. That really helps you a lot. That way you are responding to tasks with humane kindness, or gratitude, or enthusiasm, all that augurs well with our relationship with the colleagues. And then when you are finishing up, make sure that you have done everything, and then you are then leaving. Okay. So in the last minute for us, what happens is admissions come, patient calls come, and all that. I see a lot of people really resenting that, and then wasting energy in a negative way. But if you accept, okay, a police, or first responders, like physicians, nurses, our job is to take care of people, so the needs may come at any time. If you have adjusted yourself like that internally, then you won't resent that somebody called in the last moment. You can go and see what's going on and then help them whatever you can, and then you can hand it over to the next person in a responsible way. But suppose the person is serious trouble and we have to act within seconds and minutes, then doing that is important. Otherwise, you feel bad that you let him go because they call you and you not. I'm just mentioning an example because I'm a physician examples only I give usually, but then it applies to anybody. Okay, finishing off very early, and then once you go home or you go or whatever you do, you just reflect on the day. That is something people don't do. You reflect on the day. What are the positives happened? What are the things that happened that I need to improve on? That kind of reflection is very, very good. And also, before you go to bed, you review all your actions you had during the day, and then you kind of put the trivialities completely out, and any important things you make a note either on device on the paper. It's much better to write it on the paper and then put it aside at the bedside, because so that it's not in your mind. You can take it up tomorrow. Okay, and that practice actually induces to cultivate intellectual capacity, memory, imagination. All the features of the human mind are exaggerated when you don't keep unnecessary data in there. This is very important in this era because of the information overload. People are not trying to be protecting themselves from that. Use the information in a wise way, but don't be victim of the information because you have allowed passive assimilation of nonsensical information into you. Okay, if it's not engaging, meaningful, purposeful for you, I don't think you should have that information in there. Okay, you can either I do what is it? I go into the silence that way. I'm fortunate to get back into, and then I use conscious thought. That means when it is needed, I use the thought. Rest of the time, I'm in silence. That can be practiced, that can be understood, that can be made as a practice. So just because the mind is there doesn't mean that we have to engage it into some things that are not really important for us, meaningful for us, or purposeful for us. So this is very important. This is the daily routine. So what are the um, uh, tips I gave? First, be optimistic. First, be cultivating deep breathing throughout the day. In the beginning, maybe a few times, and then every minute for an hour, every hour, 1 minute. That means a very, very negligible time. But then, if you are cultivating present of mind or presence in the morning, you can get back to that every hour with that minute. That's the purpose. And then you can also use food to be your nutrient. You can use deep breathing. You can use a positive mentality, you can have grateful mentality. You should have kindness, empathy, and also don't react emotionally that easily. Okay, respond to the tasks and do them. That's a big, big energy saver. And then uh, take pride in what you do. Identify with the noble purpose in any job. Those kind of things people don't do. They just do it because I'm getting paid. I have to do. But beyond that, you can take attitude like how is this task is going to help what the institution is standing for. For example, you have a car maker and you are a car maker and you are designing cars. You can contribute by helping the engines not to emit too much of this gas that we don't want, right? So everything, every job has the meaning because it's a part of something very, very important that the institution is doing. If only you identify and then you kind of take pride in that, as a very good internal thing for us. And then in the evening, relax and unwind. Unwind by really reflecting on your reactions of the day. What are the positives? One last tip I will give is before you go to bed, at least think of 10 positive things that happened to you. Very good. Like a friend called, like some success happened at work because you achieved some goal, or you have seen somebody celebrating their milestone in their life, any positive things that happen, don't let them go. Revisit them and sleep on them. And when you sleep on the positivity, you wake up in the morning positive too. You know, so that's those are the things I was talking about. I see here Kanan and Nazli. If you anybody wants to come up, yeah, I'll be happy to engage you. Jesus Christ was there early, so we had a good chat with him. So I planning this energy and entrepreneurship on a lengthy stretch because I want to say so many things, and I was making videos on each topic. So what happens now is each topic will be presented on a daily basis. We have altogether 30 videos. Okay, I am up to 26 now. I've made them. I kind of putting them for people's use. But then, as I see them, as I present them, the topic will be presented, and then people can see the video also, and then they can bring me their thoughts, their comments, their suggestions, their improvements, whatever they think. That kind of thing I want to do for a long time, maybe several weeks. It will go on. Then probably it will exhaust or whatever I can talk about it in terms of what does a modern entrepreneur will do, and how can he use ancient wisdom to help himself to be energetic, to be positive, to be achieving things. So I think it's in a long way, it will help them to feel better mentally and to really cultivate some skills so that they are not subjected to stress and burnout. That's what I see, right? So many people with stress and burnout, that's what I see. And even in the illness also, suppose somebody comes and we diagnose them with something of a awful illness, and they, more than the illness, how they react mentally, how they feel psychologically, and how they really what's their own concussion, because neurologically you respond with a negative reaction, and that has this biological component of stress hormones which worsen the disease progress. The people who don't know that they have been living with the disease for months, and when they first come and get the diagnosis done, they get into much negative frame, and that doesn't help them biologically because they are stressing a lot of stress hormones which go and influence your metabolic milieu, which worsens your disease too. That happened with the COVID people too. People, the moment they heard, they kind of really went into negativity, anxiety, and that made their immune system much worse, and they got much sicker that way. Of course, the virus itself made them, but it did not help that the people went into anxiety and all. But if the people who took it into stride and who kind of stayed away from other people and also took rest and then took all the precautions of good health, they were able to fight the virus better. Okay, that's my point. So I want to help the entrepreneurs at a depth that they have not thought about. Or if they're doing it, fine, come and share. We'll be happy to hear that. Okay. Um, so energy boosters, that's the topic today. I think I gave you some, but there are so many more. Each individual person has to examine what are the situations where they would be needing some energy and how can we boost them. Among the breathing exercises, there are like a 10, 15 of them I teach people, but not all of them you can do in front of everybody, but three or four of them there that you can do anywhere. Even if you are in the meeting, you are standing with people, you can do this, to help yourself, or you're driving in the car and you are in front of the red light, you can do that too. So there are so many types of breathing. For example, I'll tell you one simple thing that I can tell you orally. That you, what you do is, for those people who are watching on the video, they can see it. raise both your hands so that the palms are facing, you are bent at the elbows, right? Now slowly take a deep breath as your palms going up and the elbows are extended all the way above your head. And as you deep breathe out, you bring both your palms firmly down. See, that movement you can do 5 times. That itself will help you to energize, Or if you want to just take the deep breaths, like I said earlier, you could do that too. And there are deeper exercises that you should do on an empty stomach. For example, you're sitting in a chair and then you close your mouth, and as you're breathing out, you suck your abdomen inward, so that when you're breathing out, the breath is coming out, but your abdominal wall is contracted, so that you are holding the abdomen tight and then sucking towards the spine. Hold it for a couple of seconds and then release. This is especially good if you are in situations where you are anxiety prone, like you are going to give a talk, you are going to have an interview, or you're going to have a review, whatever situations that you encounter as you are dealing with a big deal, that you are going into a room to talk to that prospective customer, and you were to seal the deal, that would be anxiety prone for certain people, right? So this kind of done 3 times you do it a few minutes, and then it will really help you, because that contraction really affects the inner organs, and then the adrenaline are produced by the adrenal gland are kind of nullified in a little bit, not much, but a little bit. And also the mental mechanism, what happens with you is because of the deep breath going out and the concentration on the abdominal muscles going in, and you are away from the anxiety thinking process. So that's where it is cut off, and it's not allowed to go further and form a network of anxiety. Anxiety is nothing but feeding on itself, like a negative. You're thinking, you're afraid of something going wrong, that negative, right? That feeds on itself, it forms a network, and the further it goes, the further it will enrich all the stress hormones, and that's the mechanism you're breaking. Okay. I can give you explanation like that for almost all of them, because I kind of study like that these things. I learned them, I use them for myself, but then I want to know about them, and then from medical point of view, scientific point of view, and also from that's why it's wonderful to follow molecular biology, neuroscience, microbiome, genetics, all these newer technologies I'm following. But then how did the ancients knew about some of these techniques? Is a really marvelous thing, very interesting to follow. Okay, so if you take that kind of perspective, I think you can combine the best of ancient wisdom and the best of modern medicine, and we are the beneficiaries of that. That's how I feel about it. That's why I kind of run my company based on those principles, right? Be a pal. That's the online wellness company I run, where the services are your really we're trying to get your inner resilience enhanced. How you feel physically, mentally, psychologically, spiritually, how you feel. We want to enhance that. Not that we want to give you something. We want to let you work so that you improve, you enhance your own inner resilience. And that way you can go and face the life, face the infections, face the disease, whatever happens, with strength, with resilience, not with being afraid, being anxious, and all that. You take them much better when you are equipped with this kind of tools or hacks from the ancient wisdom. That is how I work. That works for me. So these days, nothing phases me. Before it used to be like a small thing. I was worried to death. But now I don't get into that. I'm kind of embrace that silence. If I'm not doing something that's important for me, I have to talk to them. I kind of enjoy myself in silence. So that's a bigger deeper aspect of it, but you don't have to be that. But what is important is be positive, be consciously positive. That's important. Okay. So it's almost 40 minutes, I think, since we started this session. Is there anything else anybody wants to come up on this one? Somebody send me. Okay. Jesus Christ sent me a message that he was thanking him. He was nice on the Wisdom app. So there are like 20 people there. You can come up and talk if you want to. Nazri is there, and then Kanan. I will invite you in case you want to come up and talk. So this series is going to go several weeks, if need be, a couple of months maybe. But then they are going to be detailed. But then it all depends upon how people come up and discuss. Then that will be much more meaningful for everybody too. So it all depends upon the audience response, how far I will do it, few days or few weeks, it depends on that. But I will have worked on the course, and I have the webinars that are coming up on this topic. So that is also going to be worthwhile attending for people. Okay. So I'm having fun digging out the material and using a lot of ancient wisdom areas which are really good. So we'll see all of that. So I think Nestle wants to come up. Let's see. Hi Nestle, how are you? Think I can't hear you. I have to. Nazli, are you there? Or I can't hear you yet. So the series is kind of important, I thought, because of the number of entrepreneurs I was watching that work with me on the community here, and also on several clubs, right? People are excited about the AI. They're getting more and more into this entrepreneurship activity. But I just don't want them to get lost in doing stuff without knowing how they can protect their being. That's what I was hoping for. And today we ran so many energy boosters. Hopefully people can listen to them again and see what it is. Okay. Okay. So Nazli, are you having a question or something? You came up, but I could not hear you. You're still unmuted. All right, so just go through those energy boosters I was talking about, and we will actually take them up in a series of detailed talks, and we will be able to present more data, more ways you can implement them and be energetic about them. Okay, so there are replays on. Okay, yeah, there you are, Nazli.
there was a quote. I don't know if I said anything in that was article or not.
No, I couldn't hear you. This is the first time hearing you. I could not hear at all.
Hello again. My question is, after doing your protocol of meditations, will we be established in calmness as deeply as our body don't get the emotion of the other, don't mimic the emotion of the other person? Because when someone is angry or anxious, my body copies that. So I want to know how long does it take that I be established in calmness, that I don't copy unconsciously their emotion?
There is no guarantee like that, and also it varies from person to person, their upbringing, their cultural thing, their understanding. So many things are there. Even genetic background also important. But basically, what they are learning, what they are really they want to change, transform themselves from within. That depends on themselves. But the thing is, there are people who can completely calm and quiet in very stressful situations. That can be learned, though. That's my point. But how quickly you can get it depends upon you, how you want to choose what you want to choose. Emotional liability is something very much there in some communities, and it is not there in some. Somebody is brought up in a family where there is that preference is given for the calm down and quiet yourself, but consider other people. All those simple behaviors in home, parents and everybody doing makes a lot of difference too. The more you train yourself to be volatile, to be emotional, the more your switch will be turned on very quickly, and then you lose your cool. But the more you are really restrained, the more you are training yourself, the better. It's like Jesus Christ, my guest who earlier, he talked about mental muscle. That is a very good term to describe that. So you can build up this capacity to not to react, but to really respond. That depends upon your nervous system. If you are always triggered very quickly and lose your cool and all that, that is the sympathetic nervous system. You feel threat or you are having some danger or fearful, then this system comes into play naturally. That's the reptile brain, we call it. And that's the sympathetic nervous system. It gives you either you fight or you run, right? But on the other hand, that comes very quickly, and that can be led astray by repeating that several times in our life. But deep breathing, what this does is it acts on the other nervous system, parasympathetic nervous system, autonomic nervous system, right? The more that is relaxed and rested, the more you cultivate that in situations that are training, the more you will get the capacity of being cool under trying circumstances. Some people just get off on a simple word. Some people get off on a simple threat in their own mind. I may lose my license. That's one of the commonest among the doctors, because we see the patients, and the patients may say, I'm going to sue you, something like that, and then immediately they get set off with that. So that kind of threats are made, and then people perceive them, and then they react. So instead of that, you can just say, I'm doing best I can, I'm doing the good job. Then you don't have to be afraid of them. You can convince the person what he's doing done is the maximum you could do, and then give alternatives and all of that. So it depends upon how you are, what you have been used to, how much you bring it in. So it's a kind of which nervous system you allow to build itself. So you can be cool and calm and quiet as you experience, as you develop these skills and all that. Some people may hide them, and then they may display behavior that they are calm and cool in trying situations, but then they are not really helping themselves. That's why if you, I said earlier, if you cultivate loving kindness, actually loving kindness affects you more. Is a very good thing for you too, you know. So a lot of things, Nazli, but then basically uh, try to spend your time in stimulation of parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest and digest. That means anything you do with full attention to the present, and then you use the deep breathing as much as possible. Cultivate that, and then breathe several times a day. Deliberately you breathe. That will also bring you to the moment, and then also settles your sympathetic nervous system. It's like an antidote. Modern life poses dangers in every corner, it is real or not. There are so many things out there, and they set up people for this enraged reaction, you know. But you can practice, you can take it easy, and also you can say, what is my purpose in life? What are the things I'm doing that are meaningful? What are the things that I'm really engaged in? Those kind of things, if you do, naturally your nervous system also settles down towards that. The nobler your instincts are, the better your nervous system will be. That means you won't respond to the reptile mind of other people. That was your question, right? What do you do with other people? That is what it is. You protect your own inner nervous reactions compared to other people. This is a very important thing, because most of the time we deal with people reacting from their own mental level, right? And provocating and all. But at the time, if you are aware of your own response, is the game changer. Then they can be very negative, but you don't have to allow it to influence you. I mean, this is a tall order, I know, but if once you have this, then you reflect on the situation that you reacted negatively, and then you can see in those situations what I could have done, what can I choose to behave. And that is also important point I talked about, reflection at the end of the day. People don't spend time reflecting on their own behaviors and emotional reactions and all that. Not that you have to judge yourself, but you also but then understand why I'm behaving like. For example, suppose you have some racial discrimination, somebody really did that to you in the past, and then they kind of you could not advance in your career, could not make money, and so many things happen to you, and then you feel like you're betrayed or you're done injustice, and somebody else repeats the word also, all these memories, reactions come. That's why live every day, bury the memories, and don't focus too much on the future. Live in the present and reflect, and eliminate all the things that we normally carry within ourselves. Make sense, Nazli?
100%. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I think your battery is low because your voice is getting a bit weak. But thank you so much. Very helpful.
Okay. Battery is full, but then I don't know. Maybe my voice is going low, probably. You know. Okay, I think that's a good question to end our talk on. It's almost coming to the 7 o'clock. You know, anybody else wants to come and talk? Then we will. Otherwise, we will close the room in a few seconds. Okay, Nazli, I will see you guys again tomorrow. As I said, this is going to be a long share for several weeks or several months, depending upon how people respond. You know, if they are coming up, if they are talking about their problems and really feeding back, I will do probably a few weeks. Otherwise, I may end up in a week or so. Okay. Thank you. I will see you tomorrow. Okay.